There is the darkness of negative emotions like ignorance, pride, jealousy, anger, or hatred. There is the darkness we experience when we make selfish demands that satisfy our flesh at the expense of others. There is the darkness of living in disobedience to God's ways. All of these kinds of darkness come about because of our own choices. Quote, "Those who sat in darkness and in the shadow of death, bound in affliction and irons, because they rebelled against the words of God and despised the counsel of the Most High." End of quote. Psalm 107, 10 and 11. Yet as damaging as our mistakes can be, God gives us a way out of the darkness we get ourselves into. Quote, "Then they cried out to the Lord in their trouble, and He saved them out of their distresses. He brought them out of darkness and the shadow of death, and broke their chains in pieces." End of quote. Psalm 107, 13 and 14. When we return to Him, He restores us to the full light. Even if we foolishly create our own darkness, as long as we have a personal relationship with the Lord, His light in us cannot be put out. When I gave birth to my first baby, the doctor told me, "You have a boy." I didn't forget that information and have to keep asking him over and over what was my baby. I did not wake up in the hospital the next morning and say to the nurse, "Tell me again what I had." I didn't call my best friend the following week and wonder, "Do you happen to remember whether I gave birth to a boy or girl?" The moment I heard I had a son, no one had to tell me again. From that moment, I knew. An entire vision for my child's future was in place the second I was told the truth. This experience is the same for every mother and father, or anyone who receives life-changing good news. God wants you to have that same certainty about Him. He wants you to be so convinced of His presence in your life that even when you can't feel it, sense it, or see it, you know He's there. He wants you to be completely sure that the light of His Spirit in you will never be put out. You don't have to keep looking for it. You don't have to doubt it. No circumstance can dim it. It is there for now and for all eternity. One of the ways God makes us certain of His light in us is by allowing us to test it in the dark. But this darkness is not to be dreaded. It's the darkness God has created for His purposes. Quote, "I form the light and create darkness." End of quote. Isaiah 45:7. God sometimes allows things to get very dark in our lives in order to grow us up and teach us about Himself. And some things that we accomplish in darkness cannot happen in any other setting. Think about what it's like when the power goes out in your home at night. You can barely function in the dark. You walk carefully, one step at a time, reaching out for familiar things to steady and guide you until you can find a flashlight or a candle or a generator switch. If someone is holding a source of light, you reach out and take their hand so you can move together. You don't take a step until you're certain that you're both going in the same direction. That's exactly how God uses darkness in our lives. We're in the dark until we see His light in